Now we'll get to see the power of this armed and fully operational Battlemage. I have completely leveled out my Battlemage. So in this video, we're going to do a quick run through of some place I haven't decided yet with the Battlemage at his fullest. I decided ultimately to max out Iskander's Elemental Exchange, the Mira of Aractes, and Kalidor's Tempest. I put 1 point into Inferno, 1 point in Absolute Zero, 4 into Electra's Flash Freeze to increase the duration and increase the fire resistance penalty, 1 into Arcane Will, and I built up Inner Focus to 6 for extra Spirit. Under Soldier, I put 1 into Fighting Spirit, 1 into Blitz for movement, Fighting Form to get the arc, Discord because of the massive increase to elemental damage, obviously Cadence to get that started, 1 point into Maynard's Will, 6 into Military Conditioning for the physique and health, which are very important, and 1 point into Veteran C. The 1 point wonder abilities are primarily for when I get some +1 to all soldier skills equipment, which I don't actually have right now. And I would consider putting a point into Markovian's Advantage and Zolban's Technique, because these could also be helpful as 1 point wonders. Similarly, I might put a point in Overload, but I think I'm pretty much happy with what I've got here. Yes, that's also why there's 1 point in Arcane Will and these two. I think I would reconsider actually pushing this up to 20 and maybe take these points, 1, 2, just 7 points, and putting them into Inner Focus or into Military Conditioning, or even another ability that's in this column, that's in this tree, because I don't know how useful these are going to be. It does add burn damage and fire damage and cold damage in a slow, but I don't actually think it's worth the points. But I can't respec Mastery, obviously. So we're stuck with those abilities. For weapons, I have a fire damage implement with an enchanted flint put in there. So I also have the fire aura. My fire damage, as you can see, is 179 to 282 with 182%. Really, I should also have some Aether damage if I could get it, because Kalidor's Tempest is Fire Aether. But I'm mostly focusing on fire with this guy. Ooh, that needs to be different. His other gear, I'm using a Heretic's Tome for its fire damage mostly, and the regen. I have some fire damage shoulders, Ember Grip handguards for burn damage and fire damage, Spirit casting speed, all around solid gloves for these. I put the spell woven threads in there because I think the energy drain is going to be good against bosses, and casting speed is always fun. I have some fire boots, put Mark of the Traveler in there for the movement speed. I'm using Calamity as my relic, Marauder's ammo belt for a belt, a Ranger's badge of protection. Really, that I should try to go for something with fire on there, but I'm happy with that. And a total damage ring. Yeah, it's just the general ring. Amulet of the Eye. The Explorer's helmet and trousers are probably going to get switched out if I get some good fire stuff for those slots, but I don't really have anything good for that. And obviously I'd like to have a fire damage chest piece, which I may craft for it, but I'll just wait for it to drop, quite honestly. And then pass this one on to another character. Ancient Armor Plate is a great little component for it because of the total damage and the armor increase. Highly recommend that one. Yeah, the components are pretty much pretty normal. I have a Searing Ember in my offhand, Enchanted Flint in the weapon, as I mentioned before, Mark of the Traveler in the boots, Spell-woven threads in the gloves. Those might be changed later, we'll see. There's the Roiling Blood in the ring, because it's kind of a throwaway ring still. So ultimately, it is all fire-based. Damage-wise, points I spread across the 3, pretty much. The only reason physique is a little higher, I think, is because of military conditioning, but the main disadvantage of a melee mage is you have to spread yourself thin on the points, especially if you're mixing the attacking with the explosions. But really, when I think of melee maging, that's sort of how I look at it. It has to have the attacking, physical attacks with your spell casting, all while up close and personal. Guys, please. Guys, please. We're recording. This is very unprofessional. So, this guy is a lot of quick hits, too. Because he's not so focused on his stats, he's got to be like that. But in essence, to me, a melee mage is up close and personal while casting your spells while doing the combat. Because just casting spells up close is just casting spells up close. And then casting spells far away, just, I don't even think that constitutes a battle mage. So, in the true essence of a magus, which I named the character magus, keeping spells casting up close with the physical attacks up close is the very nature of the melee mage. And that's what I tried to focus on with this build, which is why I went with Cadence and Calidor's Tempest. I decided to go into the Steps of Torment to show off the build. Hopefully we'll run into a hero before I get to the boss and I won't have to go through the whole thing. So, the biggest weakness of the build is its need to soak up energy. And I mean, that kind of happens when you have an endgame build. You're just going to end up... Where's the skeleton? It's kind of a problem with a lot of builds where you exemplify one skill. The skill hits like a truck, but the energy cost is always a lot. So I've gotten in the habit of like spacing my Calidor's Tempests, so I'm not just like spamming them completely. Ow, 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 ow. Sometimes I do end up having to button mash the move. Sometimes I don't. It depends. If I was able to get the cost reduction skill that's at the end of the Arcanist tree, I would absolutely go with that. But I'm maxed out, obviously, so that's not going to happen anytime soon. Oh, he was dead. The Scarlet Marksman. That sounds like a bad romantic novel. So we clear out level 1 pretty quickly. And as you can see, just a few hits and we've opened up everything in that area, because it's like take out the trash with those attacks, and then if there's anything left, you can pick it off one by one with Cadence. Because of the melee mage nature, that's actually how I'd like to do things, just to keep with the style, is use the spells to clear things out and then go and do the fun combat stuff. It also saves on energy, which is important. Okay, here's a boss guy. This is probably going to show off how much energy it takes to take down a boss, but how quick bosses go down once you've maxed out a skill. Then it's either going to be the video before this or video after this, depending on how I upload things. My pure Arcanist with his... I'm going to take out the mobs and go back for the spoils. so I'm not interrupted rudely by skeletons or ghosts. I have an alchemist spell already. It's awesome when you get... That really does look breakaway, doesn't it? It's awesome when you get one skill way up there and it just melts everything around you.
That skill's not ready.
It's like that. The only time the skeletons really like hurt is when there's a lot of them, but then you have to deal with the pew 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 noise a lot. That obviously annoys me. So let's just gather all these enemies up in one big area. Boom, boom. Gone. They're gone. They're all gone. Now, I haven't opened the portal yet, so we're going to open the portal here. Just in case. I preferably not want to walk of shame my way back to town, or back here. I'm not really going to go for a full clear of Steps of Torment. I know there's that sarcophagus in the other corner, but I really just want to get to the boss and kill him. Since he's right here, it'll be a quick boss fight, hopefully. The plan here is blitz up to him, hit my shield, and explode on him. Hopefully the cooldown on... Oh man, I'm dealing no damage. Run away. Man, I really don't deal a lot of damage to this guy, do I? Slowed by Warlock ability. No, run! No, what are you doing? Run this way! Oh, I'm out of potions. I'm gonna die right here, I bet. Yep. Well, we're back. This may have been a bad choice of things to choose to fight to show the build off. Oops. Didn't mean to hit the potion there. No. Ah! Pro tip. Don't hit your potion early. The cooldown's not as atrocious as Diablo 3, but there is a cooldown on your potions. Come on. Come on, we got this. Yeah, he's done. Get out of the fire, though. I have died to that fire after he's dead. Let's pick up that. Pick up that. And Supreme Spoils. Maybe something, but probably nothing. I got more epics on the way here than I did here. That is more or less how my Battlemage works at level 35. There are a few ways, I'll close up by saying there are a few ways that you can go with it. If you don't want to go with building your stats through military conditioning and inner focus, you can actually put them into Electra's Flash Freeze. The only reason I didn't do that is bosses aren't affected by it. Arcane Will is another option to go with because you will be taking damage, and getting yourself below the 50% health and then having that trigger is a potential solid ability for giving yourself a giant damage boost. And I'd say other abilities might work for that as well. Banner Spirit and Veterancy, maybe for armor equipping if you're using a shield. That's one thing. I did drop the shield for an offhand, which explains why I took a good chunk of damage sometimes. The points from that, I actually got up to about 5, and I just flipped them over to military conditioning and inner focus. But Overguard, if you're using a shield, is entirely an option. I just wanted to switch to an offhand implement, or source, or whatever they're called. Caster offhand. Anyways, that's the Battlemage. It's a really fun build. It's a really dynamic build. You feel powerful doing it. You're fast. You're strong. It's all in all a really solid choice for an Arcanist build with the Soldier. Up next is probably going to be a look at my Occultist Arcanist, the Warlock. So, we'll see you guys then. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave me any feedback in the comments, and thanks for watching.